So you're talking about entrepreneurship and innovation, a key thing for us going forward. We're known as a finance school, but we want to
Which
be...
is not bad, by the way.
It's not
bad to be number one in finance.
And we don't want to give that up.
Yeah, we're not going to give that
up.
up.
But when you look at me, we have limited resources. So how do you think about being great in, or highlighting more what we're doing in entrepreneurship, highlighting more in innovation? How can you connect all those?
Well, make a few... I think the disciplined management move always is just to go with a few strategic strikes that you think have the highest value.
Okay.
So one is our San Francisco campus, which I think is an incredible asset for us, but an asset that we have devoted mostly to the West Coast arm of our executive MBA for 10 years, which was a really good idea because it meant that it paid for the facility. Mm-hmm. But I don't think we did two things that I'd like to pursue. One is to make San Francisco a living, organic part of the Wharton School, which means having more students and more faculty there on a regular basis. Okay. And the second is to integrate with Silicon Valley, where we have just extraordinary people. So it was fantastic when Google went from Google to Alphabet. Why? Because the person who advised the Google founders to do that was Ruth Porat, a Wharton MBA who'd gone from Morgan Stanley to be the CFO of Google. And when they hived off the Google part of Google, they gave it to a guy called Sundar Pichai, and we were very happy with that because he's a Wharton MBA.
Perfect.
And just down the street, Jeff Weiner runs LinkedIn, and Safra Katz runs Oracle. And oh, by the way, Elon Musk, he's a Wharton guy. Right? People don't think of us like that. And again, it's probably our fault because we haven't done enough. So I'm spending a lot of time in the Bay Area, both because it's incredibly attractive to our students and our graduates and our faculty, but also because harnessing the power of our alumni community in Silicon Valley, the upside's enormous.
And how's the progress? Our history there has been not very well connected with those people.
Yep.
How's that going?
Hey, one at a time. And I'll tell you I'll tell you another anecdote, true story. I was going to visit Jeff Weiner, the CEO of LinkedIn, and two things happened in about 15 minutes when I went to see Jeff. You know, and I have no idea about LinkedIn. They got 10,000 people there in Mountain View, right? I mean, you know, I have it on my phone, but there are 10,000 people working there. So I go in to meet Jeff, and the person right next to him, the office, is the chairman, the founder of LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman. Talk to these guys for 30 seconds, and it's pretty clear that only one of them could scale LinkedIn. And that was the Wharton guy, because he had the business skills to scale this. You know, Reid Hoffman's a serial entrepreneur, fantastic ideas, but he couldn't run this big business. Second thing was, Jeff Weiner wanted to push me out of the office. He said, listen, I love my frat brothers when I was at Penn, but the only university I need is Stanford. And those were fighting words, right? He was just, he wanted to test me a bit. And so I sort of walked him back from that, and I said, but Jeff, you know, they hired you to run LinkedIn, and you didn't go to Stanford. You know, there's more to businesses than coders. Coders are important, but there's more to it. And I've had now that experience with several people. Now, many of the people were easier to win over than he was. He's a tough guy. But I love that experience because I think we do have to be able to say, this is the Wharton value proposition that works as well in Palo Alto as it does in Chicago or New York. Because, you know, Wharton is a globally good institution and we do all of this stuff really well. And in fact, you know, an idea we're playing with in the Bay Area, which sounds great from a marketing standpoint, but again, we've got to deliver on, is the notion of scale school. Wharton's a place that turns a great idea into a great business. And if we can credibly deliver that message in the Bay Area, you know, it's not either or with Stanford engineering. That's a great place, but Wharton's pretty helpful too.
But you had to make an evolution. You just said it. The Wharton guy at LinkedIn could drive the business forward. The other guy, Hoffman, was the idea guy.
Yeah, you know, he wrote the app or had the idea.
There any, can we do both? Could we be both?
Well, Wharton entrepreneurs are doing incredibly well, both on campus and recent grads. And I think we want to try to do both. Again, you know, I don't think anyone in this room has any aspiration other than the highest, and I think that's the right way for the school as well. So we want to have our cake and eat it too, and that's actually the thing that I'm going to try to win some decanal colleagues over on tomorrow is really about a student-focused incubator on campus, where you don't want to sweat equity stakes and all that stuff the way you do in the Penn Center for Innovation, which is really about commercializing research on campus. This is really about mindset change, where learning by doing for the students, investing in their own ideas, really trying to make something go, trying to attract people in to invest in their ideas. That's going to be life-changing for our students. And let me say another thing on the side here. You'd think that you said that younger people are more into entrepreneurship than slightly older people. Well, if you look at our employment statistics, it goes the other way. At the MBA level now, about as many people go into tech, broadly understood, as into finance out of MBA. But at the undergraduate level, the career choices are much narrower. They're still almost exclusively banking plus consulting. And I think part of that is mindset. That of course the kids see the golden rice grains going to Lower Manhattan, and then they follow the kid in front. That's the way they do it. If we can open up their horizons and say there's a different path, I think we can change minds, and that'll change behavior.